What up, what up, what up, Entourage? Another day. I would say another dollar, but I'd be lying. Another week of football. Buy, sell, hold. My favorite video, your favorite video. A lot of interesting names here. We're going to go over how to trade these guys or how to trade for them, negotiations, things like that. Of course, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Love you guys. New, old, and yeah, let's get into it, guys. Intro. The fantasy football Entourage for winning. Alrighty, welcome back. I just had 4 espressos today, so I'm lit right now. So if I'm a little extra, at least you guys know why. So if you guys are new to the channel, I do have premium content. The buy, sell, hold list, this is like just a portion of my complete list. I send 4 emails a week. Buy, sell, hold. Tomorrow's the rankings. Saturday, updated rankings after the injury reports, practice reports. And then Tuesday, we do a waiver wire email and hidden gems where I really get in depth. Not just like, the names that everybody's talking about, but give you a little more detail, so we can spot the talent early before everybody else does. Because that's the nature of the beast, guys. It's all about staying ahead, And I think my biggest fault is sometimes I'm too ahead. Like, all these guys that I've been talking about are really coming on right now. Zach Moss, and I apologize. See, I really do care. A lot of times, I take a long time for me, it's not about putting out content. It's about putting out quality content. If I can't put out something quality, I don't want to do it. And I'm mad at myself because the last waiver video, it totally slipped my mind to include Zach Moss, even though he's right on the cusp of 50% owned, but he should have been the top priority waiver. And that's why it's important, guys, too. If you make sure you're following me on all social media because they're all different. YouTube is kind of where I break shit down. Instagram is where you'll find my raps and then kind of like my shorter videos. And in Instagram, I corrected myself. I did mention Zach Moss. So make sure that you follow me on there. And then Twitter is where I do all the breaking news, just like my random thoughts, because there's so much news that comes out throughout the day. And it's important stuff, too. If you go through my Twitter, it's at IMFFRapper. You can see it there on the frame. You'll see that I discussed a lot of important things. Like a tweet I sent out today was about Allen Robinson. He might miss this game, right? Well, if Allen Robinson misses this game, Anthony Miller was already kind of a sleeper play because New Orleans got good outside corners, talking about Janoris Jenkins and what's this guy named Lattimore, even though they've been kind of burnt lately. But their weak spot is the slot. So if Robinson's out, New Orleans should be able to score some points and then, making Anthony Miller an interesting play. And I know, everybody's in different types of leagues. Some of you guys are really desperate. Like, there's teams that I have in 20-team leagues, and I'm really desperate. And I'm, looking for guys like Curtis Samuel and Tyler Johnson and Nelson Aguilar. Some of you guys in 10 teams probably don't even know who these guys are. So I try to, diversify my content for everybody. Well, I gave you enough chatter. Let's get into it, guys. Buy, sell, hold. My first buy, Carson Wentz, baby. Carson Wentz has been on fire. This guy's amazing. What a value. This guy was going super late in drafts. And to think, he's doing it with nobody heard of Travis Fulgham, Hightower, Richard Rodgers. Like, this guy, it don't matter. He's just used to it by now. He's just used to it. Think about what he did last year. He's making people like Greg Ward fantasy relevant, who had a touchdown last week. Oh, by the way, if you're desperate, Greg Ward, Dallas. Start everybody for Dallas. Got to see if Jalen Reagor is playing. But yeah, in Instagram, I do stuff like what's called waiver leftovers, and everything kind of has its own, it's like a puzzle, guys. Like, I'm very, very, very tactical the way I do things. So if you see my buy, sell, or my waiver video, right, I always say I only go after league winners or people that can start for you immediately. And that coincides with my post the day after about waiver leftovers. A lot of times, guys, the waiver leftovers, like Tyler Johnson, Denzel Mims, Nelson Aguilar, they're just as good, if not better, to be quite frank. Like, I bet you, probably all three of those guys, probably Anthony Miller is going to do better than Rashard Higgins. And what are analysts telling you? Get Rashard Higgins. I would never, ever tell you to fucking waste a waiver on Rashard Higgins. Like, what the fuck has he done in his whole league? Let me tell you something. Kevin, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here. I told you guys I had a coffee. I'm lit right now. So, yes, we'll get back to the bio, so I hope. But just to tell you how ridiculous people are. Kevin Stefanski last year was the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. Stephon Diggs, who's killing it this year, averaged 5 targets a game. And he's Stephon Diggs. What the hell do you think Rashard Higgins is going to do? And all of a sudden, he's supposed to be better than Landry? I don't like Landry either, but I don't like any of these guys. I think it's going to be the tight end because Stefanski's offense, Kyle Rudolph actually did a little good. Not a lot of good, but he did better than the previous year. So in Stefanski's offense, actually, the tight end does pretty good, and we saw that with Harrison Bryant. So I think that's going to be the benefactory. Not every day Baker Mayfield, who sucks ass, the only time he's ever good is against Cincinnati. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns. So Rashard Higgins, I bet you Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Johnson, all these guys that I mentioned are going to be better, especially this week. All right, rant over. Back to the topic at hand. And buy Carson Wentz. Buy him. I still don't think people view Carson Wentz like that. And he's been amazing. What his last games was like 23, 33, 31, like ridiculous. Buy Carson Wentz, guys. And the obvious, he plays the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this was the worst defense in the league. And then Everson Griffin, they traded him away, and now they're trying to trade some other guys away. Like, it's a mess. It's a mess. All right, second buy. Hold on, let me look at my notebook here. Damn, I'm sweating, guys. I really shouldn't have had that extra espresso. CMC. Yes. I'm telling you to buy him now because, and I understand not everybody's going to be able to buy CMC right now because not everybody's in a winning situation. You know what I'm saying? You need bodies right now. It's not likely he plays tomorrow. I would bet he doesn't. Pretty sure 99.9%. But, you know, sometimes in order to get the better price, you got to get him a week earlier. And the way you buy CMC is, like, he's probably not going to be cheap, although I've seen him pretty cheap. But then again, that was a couple of weeks ago where he was still a couple of weeks away. But you're never going to get CMC at a better value, even if he's not cheap. And the way you buy him is like, look, CMC's coming off an injury. He's still got his bye. He's got a tough schedule because he does. But guys, it don't matter. He's still CMC. That volume alone. Or then you could tell him, oh, Mike Davis. They said Mike Davis is going to be involved. Yeah, we'll see about that. I've heard that before. So CMC, he's still CMC. He's still the number one player in fantasy. Number one pick, you know, overall. I would definitely, I think people would take probably Jonathan Taylor, who seems to be really high right now. Like, I would buy Jonathan Taylor, but the general consensus is that people are really feeling him right now and feeling a breakout. So you could probably do like Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Parker, something cute like that. I mean, not every league, you know what I'm saying? But I have a feeling, or Gibson, or somebody like that people are high on right now, you could probably package one of these running backs with a player or two, fluff something up, and get you CMC. I have a feeling. Okay. And again, every league's different, guys. Don't go saying, oh, my league, they would never do that. I get it. Like, I would never take that. So, I'm just saying. Some leagues, you'll be surprised what I've seen. Next guy is Fournette. Another guy I've been touting. All right? I told you guys last week, sell Rojo. What happened? Fournette, finally healthy, made Rojo look like a pumpkin. Now, I like Rojo. Like, I think he's got talent. The problem is, guys, in today's NFL, if you're a running back, you not only need to be a running back, but you need to be a borderline receiver, especially when you got a coach like Bruce Arians and a quarterback like Tom Brady that loves to throw the ball to his running backs. First game back, part-time. Leonard Fournette, 7 targets. And that was with a healthy Godwin and Evans and Gronk. Still had 7 targets. So, that's why they had traded for Vaughn. Anyway, this is not a bash Rojo. Leonard Fournette did good. He did more with less touches. He led in targets. He had a touchdown. He played 69% of the snaps when the game was close. It wasn't until afterwards that they bring in Rojo to close it out. This is a potent offense, and he's the pass catcher. He's the better talent. And here's how you buy Fournette. Hey, you could go on the real snap count, which was, hey, they're still splitting this pretty even. Rojo had more carries. They shared snaps. It's 50%. The Raiders suck. So, of course, he's going to do good against the Raiders. That's how you pitch it, whatever. Get Fournette, guys. Fournette has top 5 upside. And I'm sure you could get him for like a RB2 price. I'm pretty sure. In most leagues. Because people still not, I don't know. Anyway, that's my recommendation. Get you Fournette. Now for my sell list. Now, you guys know, you usually hear what I usually tell you about sell list. I'm like, sell the guy on a high. Well, now before you think I'm contradicting myself, I'm going to catch myself and show you my logic. All right. Zeke. Now you're probably thinking, rapper, you just said sell people on a high. Well, here's the thing with Zeke. It ain't gonna get any better. So, just like a falling stock, you know what I'm saying? Before the stock just goes to 0. See, this is what people do all too often. Okay? And I'm gonna give you a stock market analogy. They paid $80 for a stock. They were expecting it to go to 200, 100. All right? The stock goes to 70. They're like, nah, I'll wait for it to bounce back. I'm in the hole, so I'm gonna wait. The stock goes to 60. They're like, oh, I definitely can't get out now because fuck, I'm already down 30%. Blah, blah. The stock goes to 50. They're like, oh, fuck, I already lost half my money. This shit gotta go back. And they just keep going and going, guys. It's better to lose 20%, 30%, 50% than to lose it all. And Zeke, that ain't coming back, brother. There's a couple of things working against Zeke. Number one, he ain't got Dak. It ain't the same offense. Mike McCarthy. When has Mike McCarthy produced a running back? They're involving Pollard more. They're behind every freaking game by a gazillion. Their offensive line is banged up. And here's the thing. When you have a prized possession, when you have a Lamborghini, when do you usually take out your Lamborghini? When you got, hot blonde with big fat tits that you're going to take out? Probably. All right. How much incentive are they going to have to play Zeke when they're 1-12? Do you really think they're going to be giving him 20 touches a game when they're 1-12? For what? They just signed him to a long contract. So, I like players that are on winning teams because there's incentive to play them, especially when they're veterans, which is why I like CMC. Carolina's still in the thick of things. You know what I'm saying? Guys, you could still get decent value. It's still not too late to get an Antonio Gibson, Jonathan Taylor, a David Montgomery and another player. Just something before, because after this week, he has another bad game, which he's playing Philadelphia, one of the best teams against the run. You're going to be like that sinking stock that goes to 0. So, yes, I would rather you guys get something than nothing. And I still think you're not going to get top 5 Zeke value, but that's okay. That's okay. You could still get low RB1 value, I'm pretty sure. You could still get low RB1 value, and that's what smart people do. Don't ride it out. Definitely don't buy them. All right. Next guy. Another sinking ship. And I just told you to buy this guy a couple weeks. Well, guess what? I don't have foolish pride. My job is to put you guys in the best position to win, not try to be right all the fucking time. And it's not my fault anyway. And that's Chris Godwin. You know, he got hurt. Guys, you ever feel like there's just a player, he's just got bad vibes? Like, just shit ain't working out for him this year? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Godwin just went on IR and we never saw him again. Again. Sinking ship. Get out. Get out while you still can. And he's going to be harder to sell because injured players are always harder to sell. So what do? You go after good teams. You go after good teams and you present them with a value. Here's players I would trade Chris Godwin for. Travis Fulgham. He could help you right now playing against Dallas. T. Higgins, playing from behind every game. He's been on absolute fire. It's only a matter of time before A.J. Green gets hurt. And boom, more targets for Higgins, more points for you. Okay? So those are the type of players I would be trading for or trading Chris Godwin for. Maybe you could get David Montgomery for him. Maybe you could get Gibson, who's on a bye. Maybe you could get Terry McLaurin if you're really lucky. Or maybe you could package him with another throw-in for Terry McLaurin or something like that. But again, Chris Godwin is not going to be top 5 wide receiver like I thought he was. He's played good when he's coming off a 24-point game. So it's not like he sucks. Not like he would have been a bust, but it's just not there. And guess who's coming to town? No, it ain't Santa Claus. Actually, the opposite. It's AB. I think he's going to do better than people think. And for several reasons. Last game, as good as Chris Godwin played, Scotty Miller, I think, led the team in targets. Guess who's taking Scotty Miller's role? He's like Lamborghini version of Scotty Miller. He does everything Scotty Miller does times 100, and Scotty Miller has been relevant. And Brady wanted him. And Brady was targeting the shit out of him the quarter and a half he played against the Dolphins, had a touchdown right away. The opportunity is going to be there for AB. Evans I told you to sell him last week, maybe, or week before. Guys, you got to be tuning in. You got to make moves too quick. When I tell you sell a guy, you got to sell him. So, yeah, Chris Godwin, get out. Now, here's a typical sell guy. Somebody coming off a good game. Tyler Lockett. Yeah, Tyler Lockett, 53 points. Now, Tyler Lockett, I'll tell you something. This guy is the epitome of a boom or bust player. And he's been more boom. He hasn't been like bust. The last 2 games where he had like 8 or 9 points and 5 points. So, that's pretty busty. But the games before that, he did really well. So, I can't really fault him for that. But it's not that Tyler Lockett is a bad player. It's not a sinking ship like the other 2 guys. It's simply that his value right now, I think he might be the number 1 overall receiver in points per game. It's never going to get any higher. And, you could probably get a stud running back for him. You could get Kenny Golladay for him, who I like. Even though Kenny Galladay's been pretty consistent. He hasn't blown up, but man, he's gotten, I think, 16 points every single game. That's consistent since he's been back, and he has blow up potential. You could get Jonathan Taylor and somebody else. Like, if you need pieces, that's the perfect guy to sell, because there's 2 types of trade partners. Usually I like the other end. Usually I like packaging players together. A couple nice, cute names that people recognize and like, and then get somebody that's elite at their position. But some of you guys, if you have a losing record or you're on the cusp, and you need bodies, you've been dealing with injuries or buys, then somebody like Tyler Lockett is the perfect player, because it can't go any higher. Like, he's not going to be the number 1 receiver in fantasy football. He's just not. Okay? So use him. And get a couple pieces that can help you right away. Again, it's not that I don't like Tyler Lockett, but if especially if you're one of those teams that, he saved your ass and now you're like, 2-5 or 3-4, but, you're still kind of in the hole. You still need, more players. If you don't sell them now, you're never going to get this type of value for them. So that's why, sometimes not everybody on the sell list is shit. They just, you could just do more if you trade him than if you hold him. Speaking of holds, and speaking of Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf. Perfect hold. People are so reactionary. Tyler Lockett goes for 53 points. DK Metcalf doesn't go for shit. And, everybody's like, Tyler Lockett's DK's still the number one, man. He's been more consistent. He's the better talent. He should have had a touchdown. So, yeah, I would trade Tyler Lockett for DK any day of the week. So, hold on to DK. He's been tearing it up. Don't be overreactionary. DK is amazing. Okay? So, I don't really have to say much about him. Just don't, penalize him for one shitty game when he's DK Metcalf. That's it. Travis Fulgham. I think 3 straight games with 10 targets. And even against a tough matchup, James Bradbury has been arguably, as good a corner as anyone. Still had 13 points. If your floor is 13 points against the best of the best, I'll take that any day of the week. And the reason I have him as a hold and not a buy, even though I'm trying to trade for him in a couple of leagues, is because I don't know, how things are going to be once Jalen Reagor comes back and Dallas Goedert, which we don't know. Maybe they'll be back after the bye. But, I mean, it'd be crazy to think this guy just becomes invisible. Not when you're doing like that. Not only is he getting targets, but he's doing something with them. And he's big. He's a red zone threat. He has the catch radius. He has the physique. And I think he's more equipped to be a target monster, which is what we've seen, than Jalen Reagor, who I think will be, I don't think he's going to be Deshaun Jackson, where he's just a deep threat, but I also don't see Jalen Reagor as like a possession receiver, which is what Travis Fulgham could be, in addition to being a deep threat and a red zone threat. So yeah, I really like Travis Fulgham, and, if you picked him up, you got him for cheap or free, which is amazing. Congratulations. But yeah, don't be giving this guy away because you think, he's a flash in the pan. Because, if it happens once, it could be a fluke. It happens twice, but 3 straight weeks. And look who he did it against. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Bradbury. I don't say the Giants. The Giants suck. But if they've been good at one thing, the only thing, it's been stopping another team's number one receiver. Okay? So he's done as good, if not better, than anybody against James Bradbury. Hold him. Last but not least, I did it last week. Had to do it this week. I got to at least put one tight end. And it's funny how many people still ask me, hey, should I start bum-ass tight end? Bum-ass tight end over Hayden Hurst. Now, Hayden Hurst, he hasn't been this year's Austin Hooper. I get it. I'm disappointed to an extent. I expected more. But at the same time, there hasn't been very many tight ends who have been as consistent as Hayden Hurst. Now, I get it. It's like 10 points, 12 points. It's not crazy. But let me see if I bring him up here. But he might have been as consistent as pretty much anybody, because even Kelsey and Andrews and Kittles, they haven't been all that consistent either. And they're elite, We don't consider him there. But here we go. Okay, he's had a couple of bunkers. But 6.8, 18, 7.1, 9.1, 2.8, 15.7, 12.8. So yeah, it's not amazing. But the targets are there. Atlanta's going to be in shootouts every single week. And he's still a top 10 tight end. So you're not going to get much value for him. when people are even asking me about dropping him or playing some other bum over him. And so why, in today's climate, keep a tight end who could get you, has been getting you double-digit points. Remember, he had to develop that chemistry, too, with Matt Ryan. He's new. Austin Hooper was there a couple of years before he really bust out. So there is upside. And if Julio gets injured or Ridley or, they seem to have the injury bug going, Gurley, then maybe even more targets for a team that's going to be playing catch-up or in shootouts. Kind of like, his prospects getting 5-6 targets a game in that offense. So I would hold Hayden Hurst. All right, quick recap. Tuning in late and too lazy to press rewind. My buys are Carson Wentz, Christian McCaffrey, and Leonard Fournette. My sells are Ezekiel Elliott, Chris Godwin, and Tyler Lockett. My holds are Travis Fulgham, DK Metcalf, and Hayden Hurst. Well, guys, as usual, make sure you follow me on all social media because they're all different. Comment down below any questions. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Really, I do appreciate this. Just to be able to do what I love, have this audience. It's a lot to build a YouTube channel. I know a lot of you guys are not spreading the word because I'm your secret weapon, which is, that's the highest compliment, really. But if you could share it, if you could have your mom or somebody that you're not competing against subscribe, that'll help. Or view. But yeah, guys, till next time, thank you. Love you guys. Peace.